Joe, I guess you saw that Frank's dad died.
So I don't
Yeah,
think
he goes Thursday at 11.
It's only family though, right?
Is it only family?
I thought I saw.
Yeah, I thought it was only family. Rhea posted something, I thought it
Oh,
said only
it is?
family. I
Because my
thought
mother
so.
was gonna come up. I didn't want to text them because
I hate that too.
doing that.
I know, I just posted something just there, but I'm gonna reach out to them.
Look at,
call her.
if you go on Rhea's Facebook page, she's got the arrangements on there.
I saw that, but I thought it said
I thought it said
mass.
family only.
Oh, family only.
It should.
Oh, I thought it was a mass at St. Catherine's.
Yeah, there's a mass at St. Catherine's.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah,
said
but
mass at St. Catherine's at 11. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I was
check.
just gonna go to
Yeah.
the mass.
I'll double check.
Listen, he, was he 90?
He was
Lived a great
90.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's warm in here, isn't it? It's warmer than me. Yeah. 3.
We're ready? Yep, okay. Okay, good evening and welcome to the September 14th, 2020 Public Council meeting. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Here.
Councilman Messeri?
Here.
Councilman Zakelli?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Tanella?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here, please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting was duly provided to the Verona, Cedar Grove Times, and the Star Ledger by email and published in an annual schedule of meetings December 26, 2019, filed with the Township Clerk and posted on the Public Bulletin Board in the Municipal Building Lobby in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. The public will be able to listen to the meeting and participate during public comment by calling 1-866-305-0232 and entering the participant code 9333490 on the day and time of the meeting, which is 9/14/2020 at 7 p.m. Before we get started, I would just like everyone to please take a moment of silence in recognition of 9/11 and all those that perished and all the families affected. Okay, thank you. Number 2 is extraordinary business of the Township Council. That is on there in error, so we're going to skip number 2, and we're going to go to number 3, approval of minutes. 3A, to consider approval of minutes of reorganization meeting July 1st, 2020.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tanella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item B, to consider approval of minutes of regular public meeting July 13th, 2020.
Excuse me, Mayor. Kathy,
Yep.
could they take both of them together?
There were two.
Oh, there were two
that we
separate-
vote no,
Okay,
so
okay.
we second.
Okay. Got it.
Do I have a motion?
Star move, Mayor.
Thank
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tanella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. C, to consider approval of minutes of regular public meeting August 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tanella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 4, award of bid. A, to consider resolution awarding bid for locker and bathroom alterations and additions to the police department.
Be it resolved that the award of bid be made to Ranco Mechanical LLC of Newton, New Jersey in the amount of $148,900.
Make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, comments. The renovations to the police department locker room are necessitated on the fact that, as we all know, we have 3 female police officers, and to make things more comfortable and accommodating for all officers on the department, we're having separate facilities for each. So that's what necessitated these improvements.
Great. Thank you. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Number 5, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on the agenda. Seeing none, we will move on to item 6, reports of the township officials. Township Manager, good evening, Mr. Tucci.
Good evening, Mayor. First item I have, I just want to report that I had a meeting with the Historical Society regarding the Historical Society lease. We went through all the items. There were some areas of concern. We addressed those, and I believe the lease has been signed by the Historical Society and is prepared and ready for the governing body to ratify. You'll see later on the agenda, there'll be an item for you to do so at that point.
Yep.
Okay?
Thank you.
Second, I'm going to have to recuse myself on this one, but I just want to give you a brief update. The Township of Cedar Grove disposes of our liquid waste to Passaic Valley Sewage Authority. There is an agreement later on, which I will recuse myself from discussion on that at that point because I'm the chairman, but this is the contract between the Township and Passaic Valley for us to dispose of our liquid waste from our sewer plant down there. You'll see that later on the agenda also. Next item I have, there is a proposed ordinance amendment which is recommended by the police department for Lewis Road. Lewis Road is the little side street off of Grove Avenue. There is a company called Lozier Industries there. Loziers have been family members in Cedar Grove for a long, long time. Mr. Lozier called me. They have a loading dock, and adjacent to their loading dock, we have allowable parking all the way across the street, and his trucks have a hard time backing in and out. So what we're looking to do is shorten the allowable parking on the opposite side of the street from his business. This way his tractor trailers have more room to back in and out. And what we're recommending, and the police department has a memo in the packet, that we amend our ordinance to allow no parking directly across from his loading dock.
So is that, just so I'm clear, is Lewis Road the first, like if you're going up Grove, is that the first one or the?
Second.
The second
It's
one.
the second?
one.
And-
Rutgers is the
oh,
first
so
one.
Okay,
Rutgers
I
is
just
the
wanted
first
to
one.
picture it clearly.
And, going up Lewis Road, he's on the left-hand side, and there's allowable
Got
parking.
it, he's that
on-
brown building.
Yeah,
and the-
they're allowable
okay,
parking on the right-hand side.
got it,
And what happens is it just extends a little too far and makes it difficult for the trucks to get in and out.
okay.
So we're asking if it's okay with the governing body. We'll have the township attorney and the town clerk amend that ordinance just to shorten up the distance.
Okay, so I get, the people who park there primarily would be the employees?
Employees.
So there's that huge parking lot in the back, so they're
Correct.
just gonna have to go to the back and?
Right, there's more, you're only probably going to lose about two to three spaces.
Okay.
At maximum.
Yeah, okay, perfect, I just wanna understand,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Next item, we currently have an ordinance regarding, single-family residential, multifamily housing. The one thing that we don't address in our ordinances, which we stumbled upon, is bed and breakfast. I don't know if anybody knows, but we do have one bed and breakfast that's been operating in Cedar Grove. And what brought it to light was COVID-19, because we are observing out-of-state plates in front of this one resident, and it'll be different out-of-state plates all the time. Go to find out, the homeowner was renting it as a bed and breakfast, which we do not regulate at this point. And because of COVID, we have people coming from out of state coming in and with quarantine and everything else. So what we want to do is we want to amend the current ordinance to address bed and breakfast. And
Okay.
with the governing body's authorization, I'd like to work with the town attorney and the town clerk to amend that to basically prohibit, for the most part, bed and breakfast at this point. Because basically it's operating a business in a residential area. And if there were areas where the governing body wanted to entertain it, we could put that in also, if that's the governing body's wish.
Okay, so that's a bed and breakfast, does that also go for like an Airbnb, where they would
Yeah, that's
vacate
basically
the same thing?
that's basically the same thing.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
But again, it's better to regulate than allow these things to operate
100%.
with no regulation at all.
Yeah,
I don't know if the governing body concurs or not, but that's what our recommendation is.
yeah, I agree
Okay.
with that, yep.
Okay. Next item, there's a memo in the packet from the fire department. They're having their annual shredded fundraiser. Let me tell you, it's a great, I come every year, I deposit my stuff, I give them a donation, and they do a wonderful job. Former Chief Dave Shawless is the guy that spearheads it, They really do a wonderful job. So if the governing body has no objection, we'll authorize them to proceed with that. Also in the packet, there's a bit of correspondence from the Ridgewood Acres Association. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, they're not going to have their annual garage sale, which is spread across the whole area. There may be some people doing it individually, but they're not going to do it as an overall group. I believe Mrs. Dye had written the letter, so that's just for informational purposes. Also, I would like to take a minute to recognize the passing of our former town attorney, Tom Scrivo's dad. Mr. Scrivo had a short illness and passed away recently, and I just want to extend my condolences to the Scrivo family. Tom served here over 20 years, and I want to offer due respects to him. And on a more happy note, I would like to introduce to you my new administrative assistant and secretary, Sukana Bartlett. Sukana is here with us. I'm very happy to have her with me. She's come on, she brings a lot of energy, she brings a lot of expertise and experience. She formerly worked for the state of New Jersey, and I selected her out of 8 candidates, and they all were very good and worthy, but after you interview Sukana, you knew that she was the right person for this job. So I want to welcome her.
Thank you.
Sukana, I don't know if you want to say anything,
Yes,
you're welcome to.
Looking forward to working with you all and getting to know you each better, and I'm very excited to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
And with that, that concludes my report for this
Okay.
evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, B, Township Clerk, Mrs. Stutz, good evening.
Good evening. Just a couple of items. In the packet, there are 3 letters of interest for the current zoning board vacancy that the council will probably want to address. And then I just wanted to note that we have 2 candidates for the council vacancy that will be on the ballot for the general election. And I just wanted to give you a little election update. We've been working with the Essex County Board of Elections to identify a suitable site for the location of a secure ballot mailbox. And we've also been working with them to confirm an additional polling site to service, so that we would have 2 polling sites to service the township for the general election. One would address we split Route 23, since Route 23 bisects the town, we recommended the Robert O'Toole Community Center for the west side of 23, and then the public library here for the east side voting districts. We have not gotten confirmation back yet, but I do anticipate that coming back.
Okay, thank you. And just to be clear, will that will be for provisional ballots only? Is
No.
that- Oh, we're going to have the machine and be able to
There
vote?
will not be a machine for registered voters to vote on, only if you're visually impaired. That would be for, if you didn't have your ballot. The thing that's different in the general election from the primary election is that voters are allowed to bring their vote by mail ballot to the designated polling site, rather than mailing it or depositing it into another ballot mailbox.
Okay, yeah, I've had a number of people ask me, and I just wanted to be clear. So they're going to take their vote by mail ballot and go to either the, hopefully O'Toole Center or the library, and hand in, so it's,
Yes.
instead of mailing it, you're handing it in?
Yes. Or
Okay.
you still have the option to mail it,
Right.
so there's 3 different options.
Okay,
So once we get confirmation of those locations, we'll get information out, but the Essex County Board of Elections will also be mailing that same information to all registered voters.
okay.
Kathy, one question.
Sure.
If you hand deliver your vote by mail ballot, is it considered a regular vote or a provisional vote at that point?
It's a regular vote. It's not a provisional ballot. It's not a provisional
So
ballot.
even if you
It's your
hand it
actual.
in that form, it's a regular vote.
They're
It's
separate,
not a provisional.
there's separate boxes. There will
Okay.
be, it's my understanding there's separate boxes. One is for the vote by mail ballots, and the other box will be for provisional
Okay,
ballots.
because is some misinformation out there that if you do that, that they're all provisional on the walk-in.
It
Yeah.
makes sense
Oh.
that the nature of the ballot
You know,
determines
Right.
those
How,
too.
I was just gonna ask that, how do we count it then?
uncharted territory.
This
right?
is true.
Yeah.
did.
So
So, and
I
then
don't
that
have all
night,
the
they
answers.
just count all the, like, when the polls close, do the workers sit there and count the, how does that? go?
No, those, I don't have those finer details.
That's okay, it's
yet.
just, it's so
But it's-
confusing, you know, you wanna,
Yeah, I mean, in the primary election, we had a municipal employee go and pick up the provisional ballots and bring them back here. I don't know if that's going to work the same, or if the Essex County Board of Elections is going to send people to pick up both ballots, or just the vote by mail ballots.
Yeah.
Those details, I
okay, well,
don't have the information on.
that's okay, the information will come, I'm sure,
I have
hopefully.
a couple of questions.
Yeah,
Mayor, if that's
of
okay.
course.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, you're not on the hot seat.
When Joe starts asking questions,
It's not your fault. I read recently that there are a number of ballots for the primary that were mailed on time, and people got letters saying that they were not counted because, for whatever reason, the postmark or whatever, it was the day after the election. So my question is, I don't know if you have these details. Obviously, this is not the day after. They're bringing it in person to these two locations, and people that choose to do that. Are there employees there that are taking, signatures of people dropping off? Is there any
Yes,
protocol?
it's my understanding that when you go to the polling site, that you will have to sign the poll book, as if you were voting on a machine, but you're not
But
going to be
they're-
given a voting authority to vote on the machine, but they are recording who,
Who has dropped off? on
yes,
the ballot? Okay.
yes.
And I don't know if you answered this earlier, Ms. Stutz, but then those ballots are collected and they're dropped off somewhere, either to the Board of Elections or here in town. We don't know yet.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Stutz. I mean, I reiterate what I said at the last meeting. I think this is, very unfortunate that New Jersey has taken this path, especially the way things are going now. We're actually improving since the last meeting. The governor has allowed for indoor dining with 25% capacity. Certainly, we could have accommodated all the voters, we could have gotten in person, and we could have had results probably that day. I don't know how we're going to have results for the, I believe, 12 congressional elections this year. We have Senate, we have the local elections. I don't know how you can have that when people are dropping off their ballots that aren't going to get looked at until after the election. So certifying the election is going to be a nightmare, and it's just unfortunate. And I'm saying it for the record, I'm just a, small councilman here in Cedar Grove, but, it's just unfortunate that this is what it's come to.
I agree with you.
We all agree.
Kathy, in terms of so for our municipal, because the municipal will be part of that, what, will we know that night who won the municipal election? We won't know. Wow, okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
Can I ask a
of
question?
course.
Mrs. Stutz, you said that there won't be provisional ballots at those locations, but what happens with someone?
No, there
who-
will be provisional.
Oh, there will be
ballot.
provisional?
Yes,
So if you for some reason, didn't get a ballot in the mail, you'll be able to go there and vote?
Yes.
provisionally? Okay.
yes. Yeah. I've been getting lots of calls.
I've received a few myself.
In this small little town, can you think, it's going to be
Right.
across the
Well, and
country
then,
like
and
that.
there's also confusion
It's gonna be
between
June and we're not
how they get a ballot and whether or not they have to mail an application to receive a vote by mail ballot. And that is not, all registered voters are supposed to be mailed vote by mail ballots without the need to file an application.
Right.
Do we have dates on that, Ms. Stutz?
I believe that the ballots are supposed to, according to the governor's executive order, be mailed, go out by the 29th day prior to the election. So that would be like the first week in October.
Because I think
Just
we have
insert,
15
unless, if you don't have the
days
language, anyway, do it next
before
week.
the election to make
have to
a
do it
request,
If you want
formal
to get it
request
tonight,
for
I'll
a
figure it
mail-in
out.
ballot.
I mean,
21,
It's not
I think.
necessarily.
I think it's
I'll
21.
explain to them.
Alright, so
I mean, 2
we
weeks
might
is not gonna
know
kill anybody.
29 days prior.
We've been waiting this,
Yeah.
how many years?
In order to
Yeah,
process
just get it
a
right.
vote,
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
it's actually 7 days in order to do
You're
the
gonna
whole
bring that up as
process
part
by
of-
mail, but
yeah,
under
yeah,
these
okay.
circumstances, you know, this,
They're giving more time.
yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Anything else?
Not from me.
That's enough, right? Thank you, Ms. Stutz. Mr. Sombrero, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. I just have a couple of things, I guess, to discuss about tonight's agenda. The first is, along with Mr. Tucci's documents, there's a memo from our tax appeal council recommending settlement, block 180, lot 46.01. The memo is self-explanatory, I don't want to belabor the point. I've reviewed it. It certainly seems that the recommendation is something that I would suggest that the council consider. Mr. Tucci discussed the Morgan's Farm lease. I would ask that that just be carried to the next council meeting. The resolution's got to be, I would like to modify it to reference one of the conditions that are set forth in the lease agreement, which is that it's subject to NJDEP approval. So in other words, the governing body will vote on it, but then it's still nonetheless subject and contingent upon NJDEP approval, which is one of the requirements imposed by Green Acres, which is the deed restrictions on the property.
Okay, so, so item 10, we're going to table that until the
Yes.
next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
10A.
10A, yes.
So that's until September 28th?
Yes.
And Kathy, maybe if I could just have that resolution in Word form so I could modify it?
Sure.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Good?
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's okay, okay, thank you. Okay, reports of our council members. Mr., Councilman Massari, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I don't have a formal report, but I did want to acknowledge all the hard work and the 9/11 ceremonies on Friday and today. Just tremendous work by the students and by the Board of Ed and the township to have, Cedar Grove on the map when it comes to this issue. So I just want to acknowledge that. And unfortunately, this particular year, I couldn't participate. I had two matters with the Superior Court that I could not reschedule. So I apologize for not being there, especially for this event. I'm very pleased. I'm happy to hear how well it was received and how everybody participated in it. So I just want to acknowledge that. But I don't have a formal report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Sakala?
Thank you, Mayor. Just, I would like to echo those sentiments about the 9/11 ceremonies and just remind you that next year 9/11 will be on Saturday. And in the past years, I don't know what the Board of Ed is planning on doing about that, but past years we've had some residents complain that we would have our 9/11 ceremony on Friday, our remembrance on Friday, and it wasn't actually on 9/11. So just, we should keep an eye on that and find out what's planned so we can keep keep our remembrance to the actual day of 9/11. And just one question, Mr. Tucci, any update on the field?
Actually, I had a meeting with Mr. Cornelia from K. Hovnanian. He just received the final plans and the construction bids from, what's the name of the company? I can't remember. Field Turf. And they're going to be starting, bad timing, but at the beginning of October.
Okay.
So we make it into rainy season, and you know how the field is back there. But I'd rather them start it now than wait again till
Good.
spring. But, so it's going to start rather quickly now.
One thing we may want to consider, there's a lot of cut-through kids going to Panther Park through LRP, and it's a, a convenient shortcut.
Yeah, that's all going to be fenced off.
Okay, good. I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, because when they're doing that construction, we really have to be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Zakeli.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I have a few things. First, I want to echo everyone's comments on the wave ceremony on Friday. It was really moving. Dave Schoner, Vice President of the Board of Ed, and Cedar Grove residents been doing it for 6 years, and a few students came and spoke. It was really, really touching. And then today, we had a very special ceremony. Chairman O'Toole of the Port Authority and Port Authority Police Department, Counterterrorism Unit, the Bagpipes, they all came to thank Dave and the students, and it was a recognition that Dave really deserved, the students really deserved. Dave put Cedar Grove on a national spotlight with this program, and they deserved every ounce of recognition that they got today. So for me, it was a very humbling experience to be there and share in that celebration. With that said, the Historical Society is having their pumpkin and apple sale on October 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th. Those are the first 2 weekends. They asked I would share that with the governing body. Mr. Tucci, I don't know if this is how to go about this. 2 residents emailed me complaining about debris on Grove Avenue. They know it's a county road, and they said, well, Cedar Grove keeps their streets so clean, why can't the county do the same? So I said, well, unfortunately, we can't clean the county streets, but maybe we could.
We will pass that message along.
Thank you.
Okay.
For members of the governing body, I got, literally I was driving in here, I got an email from a resident, which I'll pass to everyone, regarding some matters with the school district that they wanted me to share with the governing body. I will email it to everybody. Finally, I have a matter for executive session. I was wondering if we could put at the end of the meeting for a personnel discussion,
Okay.
and I have no further report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items, just a couple of follow-up items from Mr. Tucci. Mr. Tucci, what's the latest update on Hilltop? Where do we stand with regard to the construction and
Construction, we are approaching, well, as a matter of fact, I just got the report 2 days ago, and COs, there are 275 COs issued there as of Thursday or Friday of last week. Sales are approaching a little over 400. Now, understand, 90 of those 400 are the low to moderate incomes. So we're almost sale-wise to completion of 460. So the project has gone much faster. I think the economic conditions and COVID-19 accelerated the project much faster, because there is a lot of fleeing from the inner cities to the suburbs now, as is apparent with any real estate agent that you talk to. So that's where we are. But it's 275 COs. That means people are actually in those facilities, and over 400 sold.
Thank you. The recycling center, Mr. Tucci, what's the status of that? I was down there on Saturday. It looks great. I mean, you've already have it all reorganized. It's
Yes.
all the gravel's down. What's the,
What's going to happen there is, as part of our roadway overlay project, which will include probably about 7 or 8 streets this year, the recycling center is part of that. So what'll happen is, as part of that, that will be paved probably within the next 2 weeks, along with 7 or 8 local streets in Cedar Grove. And that's our overlay program. We have our road reconstruction program, which is tied into the NJDOT grant program, which Ozone Avenue will be started, Myrtle Avenue will be started, South Mountain Avenue, we just got the grant notification on that. So those are 3 additional projects besides our road overlay that'll be going on shortly.
do we have any other plans for the recycling center? That was really it? Clean up everything? You got more bins down
Well,
there?
what happens is this: the recycling center, as everybody knows, is gravel, and after rain, we'd have puddles, so on and so forth. And where the concrete, where the dumpsters were sinking into the ground. So what we did was we removed the dumpsters, we poured concrete pads for the dumpsters to sit on, and now the whole area will be paved, and people will be able to drive in. They won't have the gravel issues anymore, and it'll be more organized. The bins, everything will have signage, and there'll be somebody assigned there at all times.
Right, okay. The only other follow-up item is Route 23. Is that project now complete in Cedar Grove?
For the
paving,
most
striping?
part, yes, but there are some, if you take a look, there's remnants of striping that need to be done. In particular, Bradford Avenue, if you're coming eastbound right at Dunkin' Donuts, you'll see that left turn lane is not painted out, so it is a little bit confusing. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine got stopped there because he didn't realize what the line was there.
Right.
But we're getting them back, and we have our traffic safety officer, Lieutenant Pumphrey, going to each intersection and just double checking our notes versus what we were told was going to be done, just to make sure it's done. But for the most part, I'd say we're about 97% done.
It's great going into the winter. We finally, after all these years, it's paved, it looks great, safe. Looks really nice.
And the other thing is, all these traffic lights now have battery backup, and then beyond the battery backup, they also have an accommodation where we can tie a generator into it, and it will work as long as you have gas in the generator.
Right.
So we're going to be purchasing some additional generators. And you say, why is that important? Because before, when all the traffic lights went out, we had to put a traffic officer on each corner, and that killed our response time for any emergencies.
Yeah.
Now our officers will be free to address the public's concerns and not have to handle traffic on the corners.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a major upgrade on our part.
Thank you, Ms. Tucci. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Mayor, can I
welcome.
just follow up on
Yeah.
one of the items that the deputy mayor had asked? Mr. Tucci, I know it's not, because it's the state road, it was really the state who did all the markings on the road. I know there was one of the local businesses that wrote to the governing body
Yes.
regarding the left hand into the gas station across
Yes.
from Food Town. There's nothing that the township can do about it.
There's nothing the township could do, but we did bring those concerns to DOT, the engineers at DOT. The problem with that particular configuration is that in order to clear up the confluence at Grove Avenue, where you made the right turn there, it was narrow, they pushed the entrance to get into Food Town down further. But what I think they misinterpreted was anybody coming northbound and wants to make a left into that particular business, they'd be right in that, the left-hand turn lane to get into Food Town. So I'm seeing what we can work out there, if there's anything they can do at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Mayor, I just have one more
Of course.
item that I forgot to mention.
Go ahead.
I just want to commend you on your Light the Town Blue. I think it was a huge success. I mean, everybody complimented about how Town Hall was lit up, how the light bulbs went on, and the T-shirt give out. But thank you for the suggestion. It went over very well, and thank you for the governing body for supporting it.
Well, thank you for supplying all the light bulbs and for jumping on board and doing everything that you can do to make it happen. And Town Hall looks absolutely beautiful. So it's great. Thank
And
you.
I got to say, Councilman Zakelli's house was a hit. If we were going out a prize, he might have won first place.
What about my house? I have lights on my bushes. We have blue lights. We're going to have a competition. Okay. So, moving on to my report, I just have a couple items. First of all, of course, I would like to echo the sentiments of 9/11 Waves was a great success again this year, thanks to Dave Schoner, and it's just so important for the children, especially now because most of the children, all the children in high school now weren't even alive. And today's ceremony, I want to thank Chairman O'Toole. I want to thank you, Councilman Zakelli, because you were a huge part of it, and also you, Mr. Tucci, for making, I know you put it together quickly. It was an absolutely amazing, touching ceremony. It was really nice to see Mr. Schoner recognized, but as we were discussing before, listening to the police officer that was 7 months on the job and what he went through and what he did really just illustrates true heroism and what these law enforcement officers go through every day. But on a day like that, it just shows what we're really made of here in America. And, I know all of us sitting here have the utmost respect for police officers and what they do every day. And listening to this man's story was really just a tribute. And he was so unassuming and quiet and humbled, and he is a true hero. So I want to thank you for that today. It was wonderful. I was going to talk about the blue lights, but we did. The other thing I wanted to ask Mr. Tucci and ask the rest of the council, what about perhaps, do you think that we're ready to open our meetings to the public? I know the Board of Education tomorrow night, their meeting is open to the public. I was thinking, I feel like we're maybe ready for that. Thoughts?
I think we're getting close. I was thinking potentially the first meeting in October.
Okay.
Only because I would like to put some protocols in place for the public entering. This way, everybody knows what the ground rules are coming in.
Right.
I have recommended guidelines from our joint insurance fund. They put them out to all 22 towns that belong, and I'm going to follow those guidelines. But I would like to, I think the 28th might be too soon.
Okay.
I would like to do it for the first meeting in October if the governing body agrees, but I would just like to put out something in writing so that everybody understands what they're going to be dealing with as they come into this building.
Right.
Great idea.
Okay. Yep, perfect, thank you. And then in terms of Pumpkin Avenue, and I know Lieutenant Pumphrey was going to go back and look, there is a odd left-hand turn that by the rescue squad, right before Myrtle Avenue. There's
Yes.
a left, and there's no left to go there. The only thing I could think of why because you need to, if you didn't have 2 lanes there, it goes into one, it's I'm sure he'll figure it out, I know.
Some
But
of the
it's
lines are
confusing, and I just wanted, that one might need to be, because you can't make a left-hand turn anywhere there, but there's a left-hand turn lane. Polling places. Okay, that's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, moving
You said
on.
that was near Brunswick?
No, right before Myrtle, in front of
Before Myrtle?
Chase, in front of Chase Bank.
If you're going
If you are going south, yeah.
It's south going, it looks like it's turning into the rescue center going southbound.
Okay,
Like into the between the apartments and
Yeah,
at
no,
that light,
I know exactly.
the light at
Sorry.
Myrtle.
got it.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Item 7, consent agenda. To consider resolution concerning approval of raffle application Macedonian Church.
Mayor, you can take both these items
Okay.
together if you
Great.
wish, just announce what they are.
Yes. And B, to consider resolution, we'll take the two together, to consider resolution concerning appointment of council member to Downtown Advisory Committee.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve both.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Number 8, new business. A, to consider introduction of pending ordinance number 20-864, ordinance creating deed restriction on property owned by township.
An ordinance of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, creating a deed restriction on property owned by the Township of Cedar Grove known as Block 250, lots 37, 81, 101, and 141, to dedicate said parcels for recreation and conservation uses.
Mayor, I move for the introduction of pending ordinance 20864 to be published in full in the Verona City Grove Times as a pending ordinance with a public hearing scheduled for October 5th, 2020.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor, comment, please.
Yep.
Just for the public, I just want the public to know that is the former City of Newark watershed property that the township purchased. You know, the public may not know by lot and block numbers what that is, just so everybody has that information.
Great, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. 8B, to consider resolution concerning tax cancellation granted by Tax Court of New Jersey.
Be it resolved that the required tax cancellation and refund be made for Block 91, Lot 13.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item C, to consider resolution concerning cancellation of sewer charges and penalties.
Be it resolved that the Chief Financial Officer is hereby authorized to cancel the sewer charges and sewer penalties for the above accounts.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item D, to consider resolution concerning 2019 municipal audit.
Be it resolved that the Township Council states that it has complied with NJAC 5:30-6.5.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 8E, to consider resolution concerning corrective action plan for 2019 municipal audit.
Be it resolved that the corrective action plan hereto attached is hereby approved and accepted.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Tucci?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to comment on this. Our audit again this year was outstanding. I have to commend Mr. Homa. He does such an outstanding job as our CFO. And if you'll see in the audit report, there's never any recommendation. There's our findings, there's always a recommendation. And the same recommendation, if you look here, I'm here 30 years, is that we have an asset inventory done. I don't know why they put that in every year, because as part of our budget book every year, every department head is required to list all the equipment, desks, and everything in our budget report. So that factually is, but I think they insist that they want us to pay a company, when actually we do that every year on our own. But they put it in there, and we accept it, but I'm not spending that money, I'm a little bit cheap.
Thank
But I just
you.
wanted to explain, that one in particular, it leaves a stone in my shoe every year, because it's there. Factually, we have asset inventory of everything in this building, it's in our budget book, every department head gives you a list every single year.
Yep, I know. Thank you so much for
Okay.
that. Yes, you guys do a great
Just a
job.
clarification.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 8F, to consider resolution concerning renewal of ABC licenses.
Be it resolved that the applications for renewal of the existing alcoholic beverage licenses from the individuals and corporations listed herein be approved.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Abstain.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 8G, to consider resolution concerning renewal of inactive ABC license, Ramvin Incorporated.
Be it resolved that said license hereby be approved.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Abstain.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 9, approval of bills.
Be it resolved that the summary of bills, having been duly audited and found correct, are hereby ordered paid in the amount of $3,359,758.53.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Under discussion, Mayor,
Yes.
$2.5 million of that payment goes to the Board of Ed.
No, thank you.
Public Education.
Thank you, Councilman Scala. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Abstain. Number 10, we are going to table item 10A until the September 28th meeting. And 10B, to consider resolution authorizing execution of agreement with Passaic Valley Sewage Commission.
Mayor, just for the record, I am going to recuse myself from any participation in this, as I'm the chairman of Passaic Valley Sewage Authority.
Okay, thank you for that information. Ms. Stutz?
Be it resolved that the Township Council authorizes execution of a waste treatment and disposal agreement between the Passaic Valley Sewage Commission and the Township of Cedar Grove.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Missari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 11, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda concerning township business. No?
Nobody?
Nobody?
call.
Okay. Caller?
Anybody like to be recognized?
No? Okay. All right, moving on. Adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Sorry,
So
sir.
Mayor, if I could just speak briefly on that. I think that you would need a motion to amend the agenda to include an executive session that was not previously on the agenda. And
No,
Yeah.
if it's not an item that's known beforehand,
We do a resolution during the
Yeah.
meeting.
that's what I'm saying, just a motion.
yeah.
Yeah, so a motion to add it to the
Oh, I
agenda.
thought you want, oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
and then to go into executive session. The only caveat that I would like to make on that issue is, we're unable to go into closed session for a personnel matter if we're talking about the performance or discipline of a particular employee. So I just want to make sure that that's not what the purpose is. And as long as that's the case, then we should just have a motion then.
Okay, so do I have,
Mayor, I move to go into executive session for personnel reasons.
thank you.
Second, Mayor.
Okay. Do I need roll call? Yep. Can I roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes, okay, so, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting of the mayor and council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Cedar Grove are of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the council of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that, one, the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action on the executive session of the meeting of the mayor and council of September 14th, 2020, and two, the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is personnel. 3, it is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon as thereafter as it is deemed in the public interest to do so. 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.